Good afternoon. Welcome back to another pipeline trading video. And in today's video, I'm going to cover all the chaos going on because if you are freaking out, that means you have not subscribed to the channel. So if you want TNA and good analysis to give you a bird's eye view, not financial advice, but just to explain the movements in the market structure, price action, a little bit of Elliott wave, some Fibonacci technical analysis, this is the place to be. So first I want to go into ETH because if you go back and you look at a lot of the videos that I've been making, I've been talking about this flush, and I will disclose that on Friday I covered my short. Now maybe I'm a little early on that. Doesn't mean we can't get another leg down. But the reason for why I covered is I'm going to explain this chart right here, what we're seeing. And I've been talking about first level of support was going to be 16 and change, which was like roughly right here, 16. Hold on, let me zoom in a bit. I had a yellow line. I got rid of it to clear it up, but my level was 1678. I was looking at for months. That's what I said. We did hit the measure and move. So now we want to see what price action is going to look like. And that's going to tell us whether we have hit a low or not. Because I'm going to flip back and forth to some charts to give you an idea why I've been talking about this for so long and why I've been saying that I believe we are closer to the bottom than people are thinking. And one of the big reasons for that is we saw the market rip up and have a really good run with the AI. And we're seeing it now with some of the biggest IPOs ever in history. A lot of people think this is like 1999. The only difference is these companies, the Mag 7, have a boatload of cash. They have more cash than some countries, believe it or not. And their earnings are good, and their earnings projected future growth is only looking better. So one of the things that I have been saying is we're closer to the bottom. And why, if I go to Bitcoin, well, let me go back. I should have never got off this. So for the last little while, all the way back from the beginning, when the market goes up, crypto goes up. When the market goes down, crypto goes down. One will front run the other, but they've been in sequence, except for now. And what I mean by that is we've seen the market rip to new historical highs while we've seen Bitcoin plummet to levels all the way back to 2022. Now, if you've been watching my videos, I also have been saying that when you break a ceiling, that should then become the new floor. And if I go to the Bitcoin chart, you're going to see lots of lines. I'm going to clean some of it up, but I want to explain it because I was talking to somebody and they asked me to give a little bit more in-depth breakdown because they didn't understand Fibonacci or the head and shoulders or the bear flag and all of this stuff. So forgive me for repeating myself, but this is just so you can understand, anybody watching this for the first time. A bear flag is, well, first what I should do, I'm going to draw a bull flag. A bull flag is when you go up and you consolidate. This is a bull flag. A bear flag is opposite, and you chop up. That right there, my friends, is a bear flag. Okay, now let me get rid of these and explain where I think we're going and what it's going to look like. So you can see if we go all the way back, these numbers right here are a Fibonacci extension. So we had our wave 1, our wave 2. I believe this is wave 3. We're now in wave 4, and I think we're going to get a wave 5 going to the upside. Now, could this be wrong? Absolutely. This could have been wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, A, B, and C. to the downside, or a 5-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 5. And then we should go back up. And I would not say that we are in a bull market unless we break this yellow line right here now, because this is where we changed character and came to the downside. So you could see right here, we have one bear flag, and now we had our second bear flag. Now, if you're saying, where does this take us? This leaves us, okay, with a measured move. You gotta try and get it right on where. So you want to line it up to where it broke out. And this is where the yellow line. This leaves us with a measured move of about 51,956. Okay? Doesn't mean that that's the bottom. No, that's where we should be bottoming out, theoretically. But we're not going to know that until we have price structure here. So what that means is if we go, and I'm going to try and draw this as best as possible, and we start going like this, right? I believe that this right here, going sloping down to the right, is bullish. That is bullish consolidation. And then we should go up from there. Okay. Now, if I go back, let me get rid of this. That will bother me. Now, if we go down here and we start chopping like this, guess what? That, my friends, is another bear flag. And that would leave us, and this all depends on the structure. That's why I said I'm not going to call the bottom yet, because this is going to dictate our price action. If this were to happen, okay, and it breaks to the downside over here, that would leave us going all the way to 40,000, which you've heard some people say. Okay. So we don't know yet. Let's see when we get down here how the price reacts, because then you have this head and shoulder that's played out, that's been here since the beginning of, call it Jan, Feb, I've had this in. But if I go here and I were to draw and drop this, guess what? That takes us to 49,000. That is a measured move, friends. Actually, I should be doing it where it breaks the neckline, which would be here. Same thing though, roughly. 51.44.3. Okay? That is the measured move that we are getting from the head and shoulder, which actually gives us confluence with the bear flag measured move, which should be bringing us down to 53 and change. Okay. Now, typically what we would see in all the other markets is roughly a 20% drag. Okay. From the previous high, which would bring us down. From the high, 20% brings us to 61,692. That's typically close to where this bottoms out. So me looking at this chart, friends, I would tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are closer to a bottom than most people think. Now, you're not going to hear that on other channels, and you're going to hear all sorts of things. Does that mean that something has changed and broken, and we could see crypto come down to 30,000 for Bitcoin? Who am I? Yeah, there's a chance that that could happen. But do I think it's going to happen right now? No, I don't. Because right now, we need to see what price action does. If we start building another bear flag, then yeah, I would argue that we're coming probably down to 42 and change if that were to happen. Okay, but we're not there yet. We're at a huge, huge, huge level between where we are today and this 52,986 is where we should pretty much bottom if we do what we've done in the past cycles. Okay. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. This could drag on and bottom out by October or something like that. I'm not in that camp. That's what a lot of people are saying. And the reason why I'm not in that camp, and again, I could be completely wrong, so take this with a grain of salt. We saw the market make historical highs while crypto's done this. I personally think that this is going to fake everybody out. We're going to come down here. People are going to think it's going to keep going lower. We're going to get a rally. And then everybody's going to be shorting and taking their bets that this is going to continue to go down once we get somewhere up here. And in reality, we could be on a potential of our wave 5 blow off top for this year. That's what I'm expecting. Could it go into the beginning or first quarter 2017? Maybe. We don't know. But I do believe that we are closer to a bottom than we are to it going down to 20, 30, 40,000. I think that we're going to make a low when no one expects it, because that's typically what happens, is that you don't see the low. Another reason for that is look at the fear and greed. We're seeing extreme fear. So you don't really, maybe there's capitulation that has happened because of fear, panic selling, and all this stuff. And if it does happen, I personally think that we're going to see a boatload of accumulation. That's what I think would happen. And I'm saying that just based off of our past. If I go over here, again, there's a huge liquidity pool down here. So remember, where do the institutions want to build a position to take it? If it is going to go up, they want it where they can build the biggest position of liquidity. And that, my friends, is going to be up here. Can it keep coming down? Sure. But remember, the Gaussian channel is red. Okay. If we get into the Gaussian channel, we're making another leg up, right? When it's red and it's following the indicators. The other thing, too, is keep in mind with Wyckoff, we can make multiple secondary tests. So this was one, we had our selling climax, we had our secondary test. Now we're having another secondary test, which there could be multiple. Okay. A lot of people think there's only one. There could be multiple secondary tests, but where are we going to build our level of support? And that's not going to be known until we see price action. If we start chopping up here and creating another bear flag, then I would say, yeah, it's not done. It's probably going to come down over here. But if we're chopping downward to the right, down to the right, not up to the right, then that is bullish accumulation, right? And what I mean by that is you could see really clear we start chopping downward towards the end. Okay. That's why I said, does it mean that we can't go lower? Absolutely not. But you want to start seeing this chop down, because look, this is a bear flag. This right here is another bear flag. I'm going to draw them in so you could see it. It doesn't take, once you understand this, you could kind of see how it's forming. That right there is a bear flag. Take the measure and move, takes you down. Bear flag. This right here could have been a bear flag, right? We're going up. It didn't make a new low. It broke right here. And then we went up, got our test for support. Our moving averages all crossed. The price got above the 50, 10 crossed to 20. That is what you want to be looking for. So until that happens, I would not say that the bottom is in, because right now, look at how we've respected the moving averages. So now, if these start curling up and we start crossing, then that would give me confirmation. Look, right here, the 10 crossed to 20, but the price didn't get above the 50. Watch that, guys. Watch that level. If the price does go and the 10 crosses a 20, the price has to get above 50, then you're good. Because what can happen here is we could chop all the way up until this fair value gap and then make our another low. And that might happen because they want the liquidity. I've even seen things go as far as, I'm going to draw this in, and don't forget this video. That's why The good thing about doing a video or a channel like this is it actually keeps me accountable too for my analysis. If we go over here, just as an example, we could go all the way here as a bear flag. That is possible. And just chop all the way up. And then guess what? Let me do this. Even if we did that, look at this. It still brings us close to that 50 to 48 range, right where this yellow line is. So don't think for a second we can chop up, go all the way to 80,000 and still be in this bear market to get rejected and come all the way back down to the 50s. Okay. We can even come all the way down here right now to 54 and then chop and then do it again, which this would actually make sense also because it could be a secondary test. So again, we do not know where the bottom is. I do not know where the bottom is. I have an idea where I'm going off of pressure, measured moves, and then I'm going to watch price action because price action and form, right, is going to actually tell us where we are. Is it accumulating or is it distributing more, right? If I go to ETH, it's a little bit different because ETH has actually underperformed Bitcoin. And we have funds like Bitmine that I trade that have been accumulating a lot. He's making a huge bet, a $9 billion bet that this is going to go up. So right now we are at a pivotal point, folks. We're going to see, is this going to chop upright and build another bear flag? Maybe. Or is it going to chop sideways, not create a bear flag, stay neutral? We're in a huge liquidity. This right here is a massive order block, which is super bullish. So this is on the 3-day chart. Is the bottom in? I do not know. Where do I expect this to go next? Very simple. Maybe test where it broke structure, 1937. Okay. And then we can make another leg down. I don't know. But what I want to see is us to get above this line. This line has been a huge point all the way back to 2022. I've heard people say that they think Bitcoin, ETH is going all the way down to 800 or so. And I know where they're getting that because if I draw this in for you, you'll see too. I don't know if we're going to get there. But look, you're seeing a head and shoulder. Okay. So now, if I were to draw, I'm just putting this above so that I could see where I need to pull my line. If I go right here, it's a little crooked, and I pull this here, I don't know. I think that ETH, to me, looks like we are close to or at the bottom. And maybe I'm wrong. And I would love if you leave comments below, give me your thoughts. To me, we have a measured move on the head and shoulder. We have a measured move on the bear flag. Now I want to see how we build structure here. Because if you go to the weekly shows that it could come all the way down to 1221 potentially if we take out this whole order block, right? But again, you could see how we are respecting this level that I've drawn in 1671 is a huge level. Now, if you're thinking, Matt, there's no way that this can just run up from here, think again. This all happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So a month and a bit, and we are up and starting a new run up. Now, where do I think ETH can go? I would say that we would first go and I would be looking to sell some at 48.96. But I also be very, very hesitant to unload everything because this has been building for so long. Look at this. Look at this wedge. Now, it also looked like oil, right? Oil to me has been in this wedge too. Could it break? Yeah, it very well could. They don't always work out that way, but it is respecting the 8560. Okay. And why do I say it could break? Because the moving averages are telling me something different. The moving averages have right over here giving you a sell signal. So again, too early to tell because we are in a we are in a bull flag. This right here typically goes something along the lines of this. Okay, you go in, hit, 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 hit. We can even go back to 100, back down to 86, back to 95, back to 86. And then once we break, like that's what you could see. This isn't so good, by the way, but maybe it goes something like that. And then you could see again, we could start building. This right here would be another bull flag before making another leg up. Okay. So, I mean, there could be a big rotation going on. If I look at the treasury, and I'm going to show you something else on why I don't think the market's plummeting, it's this chart right here. I do think that if this number gets above over here, closest, call it 57 to 60, yeah, you're in a zone and an area where it is called pretty much every top in the market. This is the ISM purchase. This is the money, the institutional money that's flooding into the markets. As you can see, they're not getting out of the market. They've been putting money in the market. And look, this is a bear flag that, broke out. It broke out of over here. So now this means that there's more liquidity. In my view, I see, because this is on a 2-month chart, that we are not done with the market going up. There's liquidity still coming into the market. We have the largest IPOs. And we're not talking 10 billion, 20 billion. You're talking over $1 trillion combined. I don't even know how much they are because there's multiple. And that's also pulling a lot of liquidity from the other spaces. Now, if we go to, I'm going to leave it at that. I want you just to look at Bitcoin. Don't freak out. We're doing what we said was going to happen. And if you're a long-term investor, swing trader, these are areas that if you're doing IBIT, which is, IBIT right here, like you're seeing the key 0.786 fib level is at 3278. Now 3278 brings us back. So 2872 is around 50K. So this again goes with the whole price point that I was saying that I expect 50 above to be closer to the bottom. Now, if it goes all the way down to the 0.88, which is not really a favored one, look at all these gaps, which we don't know when these gaps will get filled. This could be gaps that get filled next year, or it could be filled this year. Let's see what structure looks like. But these are things to keep an eye. Be open. Don't be married to one thesis because that does not work out well. And for me, I started to buy some more BMNR. I went long. Where did I go long? I started going longer on this area here, right? Now, I had other things going on, so I wasn't going to be by my computer. So I just started to accumulate some. I'm selling cover calls. I brought my average down close to about $16 a share, where we are now. But based off of the options chain, we should close this week. And again, remember when I say max pain does not always theoretically hold because max pain last week was actually a lot higher than where we closed. Max pain was at close to 19 and change. And I took a stab at a $16 call option that was expiring Friday. and I wound up losing because if I would have pushed it out a week, I would have made a lot of money. But because I did same day, I was better off to just give myself a month. I broke my rule. I just wanted to see if I was going to be able to hit it because there was such a massive amount of open interest at $16. It did close just shy of 16, but I was expecting it for it to close above 16.50, which, to give you some numbers, because the options were so cheap, I would have made about 500% on that trade. So the risk reward was there, and I took my shot. It failed, and that's it. So I've been actually accumulating some shares down in these levels because I'm going to be selling covered calls, lowering my average, and at the same time, this is something that I think is going to play out really, really well, at least 2, 3, 4x. So I want to make sure that I'm positioned well, and I have a few different strategies to hedge myself also. So, like I always say, trade with intention, stay disciplined, and God bless you all. Hope you're having a great day.